on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska here with Wayno and DJ Akademiks. What's going on, guys?
What's up, Cole Brown?
What up, man? What up? Who Cole Brown? What?
From Martin.
Ak was actually
90s, man.
telling us about his new mansion.
What? Ain't Cole nigga without no job, or that's Tommy, right?
Nah, Cole got a job.
Cole had a job?
Cole had the bad car. They used
Was
to
he
call
when
him
I wiped up
thickums
that
and shit.
BBW? Yo, he low-key put on the BBW wave. He did.
Remember they used to tell Cole, chill out before you get your thick ass tossed up?
Yeah, yo, but you know what I mean? Listen, the Thighs is out today. I'm ready to talk some hip-hop. What's up with y'all, though?
That's good.
Some hip-hop new mansion. All right. Are you going to invite us? Can we pull up? Housewarming party?
What are you talking about? Huh?
He just told us he copped the new
You just
crib.
said that you
and
got the new,
Bruh.
you dropped the top on the Maybach and all that
I dropped
other
the
silly
top on
shit.
the Maybach. I dropped the top on the Honda Civic. You feel me?
All right.
It's called getting repoed. I don't know what y'all talking about, man. I'm broke.
All right, as always, get into some music. So look, in recent interviews, Meek said he's been in the studio working on new music, and we actually got our first preview from Rick Ross on Snapchat. So here's some of Meek's verse on a remix of What's Beef.
That's 5 million, 20, sit up and count you on busy. 500,000, 100 round in them stitches. Is we beefing and rapping, I might just pop a electricity like what's free.
So, of course, there was a quick Drake reference on there. And during his Breakfast Club interview, he did say that he and Drake have moved past their issues. It would be interesting if they worked together. But before that, Ak, you always say Meek has the hottest snippets in the game. So what'd you think about this one?
Snippets sound hot like usual, man. Yo, Meek know how to do it, man. Meek knows what the people want, man. A lot of people's snippets be whack, Drake notably. But Meek always got the hottest snippets in the game. Makes me anticipate the song more. I'm anticipating this song. I don't know if it was perfectly timed because there's a discussion now when that last year, because the 10-second snippet, this is like a Snapchat snippet, people think Drake is on the song. Of course, he mentioned Drake. I mean, it's a little bit surprising, though, because if we remember, not on Meek's part, because I think Meek has gotten past a lot of the hate, right, that he probably had for Drake at one point. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but Rick Ross at one point tried to set up a meeting between him, Drake, and Meek. Meek ain't show up, allegedly, right? So, you know what I mean, after sitting down for a while and seeing Drake in the free world publicly supporting you, and apparently there was some FaceTime stuff where he said Drake was in the background. I'm guessing he's probably a little bit more open to it. But I'm referencing Drake's last, like, mainstream interview where he was kind of adamant on some, I think they made the reference of, yo, you know, like, Nas and Jay, like, later on, they were friends, and Drake was like, I don't think I'm gonna be friends with that guy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously time heals all wounds, and it would be interesting for them to be on the track. Apparently it's also the What's Beef.
But the whole thing about What's Beef is Biggie was like explaining what beef really is. So I don't think it's that much into it. I think he's saying like, is we beefing or rapping? I might just pull up with Drizzy, saying that shit wasn't no real beef.
Yeah.
Because What's Beef was about real situations and real problems. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they did get over their shit. Like they didn't disrespect each other the way Jay and Nas was going at it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not far-fetched that it could happen, but I don't think it's happening no time soon. I don't think it's happening no time soon at all. There's no reason for it. I think Meek is just gonna be Meek and only on Meek shit for however long he's gonna go.
I disagree.
So?
Yo. I think Drake. I think one of the dope thing about him is he shows an ability to get past shit, right? And I think at this point with the energy Meek got, it's almost like it coming full circle with them actually doing a track together, or just even publicly both of them saying, yo, I fuck with him, you know, we passed it, we on some new stuff. I think if they are cool, right, and I don't know if they did have a conversation face to face, they apparently had a conversation in the room or whatever, but if they did, I see a track coming sooner than later. That would be my prediction.
Yeah, but I mean, sooner than later, why? It doesn't make any sense for them to do it. That's why I'm saying we're basing this off of the song What's Beef. And based on what Biggie did with What's Beef, he was talking about shit that was real versus shit that ain't. So honestly, Meek is on Meek's wave right now. He doesn't care about nobody else. I mean, Ross posted this, so it's probably Ross's song featuring Meek. He's probably doing shit with Ross, but other than that, he's not gonna go, huh?
And maybe Drake.
I mean, the timing-wise,
I doubt Drake would be on a. I mean, it
on
would,
the song.
It would be
maybe
dope.
because he has an album coming. You know what I mean? It would
Yeah.
just be another look for him, some more attention. But I understand your point.
Yeah, I'm just making it like he used it was a clever line. I don't think that that means they're hinting at a song coming.
Yeah, he doesn't need it right now, like you said.
Yeah, he doesn't at all. He doesn't need a record
Movement
with
is
Drake.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need a record with Drake,
Right.
clearly, right? But I think it would be. We still have to acknowledge where Meek's career went when that beef happened.
Yeah.
Right? And how everything really is coming 360 because he went from being so hated and people were L's till when he got locked up, now people are saying, damn, yo, we didn't want this, even though we might have disliked him or whatever just because we were picking sides. And this coming back around, it would be dope. It would be dope.
Yeah, but
I don't say, and the only thing I'll say maybe he needs it on a I don't want to say pop commercial because I mean hip hop is pop at this point. On a very commercial level,
Yeah.
If we gonna get Meek that not only puts up the numbers like he did with it's not is it Dreams Worth More Than Money? Whatever the album he did like 255 on.
Yeah.
Right? If we're gonna get that Meek again, he does have to get them big records. He's gonna have to pull for not necessarily Drake, but definitely gotta pull for of course not Nicki at this point, but a Chris Brown, whoever. It would be dope if y'all are back on terms to come out and let people know that publicly and then drop that banger. You know what I mean?
But he doesn't. This is what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't. That shit doesn't even matter. You know what I think we'll see from Meek and Drake? We'll see Drake, if they're gonna do something, Drake bringing him out would be more impactful than them just dropping a song.
Word.
Like if Drake brings Meek out
Or like
somewhere at
OVO
OVO
Fest or
Fest or
something
something
this
like
summer.
that, that's way bigger than a record. And honestly, people want to hear what
It's
Meek.
a way bigger moment, but does it last long?
It's
right?
that can lead to people wanting a record. Like honestly, I think people want to hear what Meek has to say from his perspective, not him with Drake. I mean, they made Amen and I forgot the name of the other record. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't really. They don't have to make records together to be relevant. Well, Meek doesn't need a record with Drake to be relevant because I hear you saying all of that. He was saying hate, but that was social media. I went to Powerhouse and he had 20,000 rocking. So, and he even said it. A lot of this is social media. When I'm out, it didn't stop his money. Right. He still was doing well. So people was disliking him on social media, and that was Drake's core fan base.
Yeah, but it affected how he moved. I know it for a fact. Like,
What do you mean?
And again, even though, because he always put on Instagram, right? Like reality versus the internet. He was getting a lot of hate on the internet. Like, I mean, I talked to the guy who was involved in whatever situation at the airport with him. Like, Meek was on guard. You know why? Because, like, a lot of people, we saw there were some chicks who
From
were
the hood, he always on guard.
No. But not only that, but like after the beef, like people started thinking that they could either troll him or whatever the case is. Some girls asking for a picture. I think he was a little bit too busy. They drove by trying to bump back to back and get it on Instagram. You get me?
Yeah.
So again, when those little troll-like moments interact with real life, now he's on guard. Now he might do something that's out of character because you're playing with him in real life when those things usually live.
But at the same time, remember what Meek just said in his interview? I was high for a lot of that. He was like, yo, I was getting high. I was medicating. I was getting high on opioids for a lot of that. So he said a lot of times, y'all see me bugging out, I was using drugs. And he's like, his message now is that he's not. And he can't, of course, because he has all these legal things over his head. So you got to credit that too to him making those type of decisions based on what he was putting in himself. Now, I'm talking about like going forward, we don't need to see no record with Drake. He doesn't need no record with Drake. And he could not have a record with Drake and be Meek. He's put himself in a position where he could drop an album without no features right now. He can.
Yeah, in terms of giving a story. But again, clearly, he doesn't, first of all, no artist essentially needs a record with someone else, right? And an artist of Meek stature. An artist of Meek stature, it's not like you're dying for a feature from Drake. I'm just saying, Meek has an opportunity, I think at this point, where public perception is so either neutral or pro him, which it hasn't been in a couple of years. If he makes the right moves, like, and I'm only thinking about a commercial success, huge superstar type of wave, right? Of course,
all the time act.
No, that's what it is though.
The numbers.
It's the music industry. Like, let's be clear,
No,
right?
it's absolutely music business.
And let's not act like Meek wasn't very proud about when he was putting up numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
Meek went to the radio station and said, "You'll never see me doing 100."
Right,
You know
but
why? Because he enjoyed that commercial success.
Right.
Even though he was keeping it still street.
But he always put up numbers. He's never been in a position where he had. What year Meek didn't have a hit record since he came out in mainstream?
Hold on, no. But when you go from 255 to like 89.
89 on what?
Or like it was around 100.
What was around 100?
His last project.
His first album?
No, his last
Talk
project.
about the most recent one.
The most, what was it
He
called?
didn't sell 89,000 the first week.
It's around 100.
DC4 did.
Wins and losses did around 100,000.
Around 100,000?
Yes.
You sure?
I am sure about that.
Okay.
Chops, can you
Okay.
fact check us?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys-
please,
you
Chops.
gotta check.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
I
check.
muted this motherfucker. Man.
I don't remember no
But-
money.
but even then, that decline, 102,000.
Right.
Okay, so 255 to 102, again, it's a little decline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's a big decline.
Well, he had that record with Chris Brown and Nicki and his whole relationship and all that other shit. And he didn't drop a lot of visuals leading into wins and losses. It's a lot of. That's what I'm saying. It's not. You can't always say that. That's the only reason. Like it's a lot of. It's a lot of. I'm not gonna sit up here and what?
I feel like you're giving me the tap dance.
I'm not giving you no.
Okay, explain to me.
It wasn't tap dance. I don't tap dance at all.
Okay, well you're doing some type of
I don't
bachata
tap
right
dance
now.
at all.
Okay,
So
I
you're
ain't
just
shot
saying that
shit.
this Drake thing would
No.
be good for him to put up numbers and put up big album numbers. Wayno saying he does not
No.
need that. He's hot enough right now.
Well, I want to hold Wayno to this because I don't think he's
What?
addressing the drop off. Why did he sell 255 and then sell 102? If you had to be guesstimate.
He had a fucking a hit record with Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj when they was in the middle of like being hot. Like Chris Brown was way hot. I'm not gonna say he way hotter than he ever was because you can never check his temperature. Like he always goes up and down with his hotness, right? And he's always all over the place. But Nicki at the time, he had that public relationship. A lot of that shit played into him selling those records.
I don't think this takes
Hold on.
away from his point that now he has the momentum, even if he was lacking it at that time.
He had another record on wins and losses with, was it wins and losses or DC4?
It was with Chris Brown and Ty Dolla $ign.
With Chris Brown.
But it wasn't as good as the last record.
I'm only talking about, like this word buzz, it's a very, sometimes it's hard to define it, but it's
Right.
like anticipation, right? When Meek did 255, it's not only because he had a record with Drake, I would never ever say that, right? But he came out of jail. People were thirsty to hear anything from
Right.
Meek. He dropped the tape,
Right.
and then he dropped the album right when he just got with Nicki. Everything aligned, right? After him and Drake got into whatever, like little tit for tat, whatever,
Yeah.
it felt like people were going against him, right? And I would attribute that to why his last album didn't sell as well as his first. It's not only the hit records,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not only the hit
Okay,
records.
but at the same, I mean, I understand what you're saying from the number standpoint, but it was a very good album.
yeah, no, the album's
Because
fire.
regardless, all right, the album's fire. So my thing is a lot of times when we talk about music, fuck all that number shit to an extent. To an extent.
You
Now,
think
what I'm
he-
saying
you think
is,
he ain't drop,
what?
but we can't really say that because he's dropping the snippets not only for you to anticipate some good music,
Yeah.
to get the hype up. How you think Drake went #1 with God's Plan? Like people
yeah,
were
but when
hyped
people
off
are
the snippet.
making music, they're not just making music from the standpoint of let me just figure out how to sell records. It's coming
It's part
from
of it.
It's a very small part of it when we're talking about a Meek. Meek, his music has always been for the people that support him and fuck with him genuinely. Same way as Drake's music. Now Drake knows who he pushes his music to, and Meek knows who he pushes his music to.
You guys want to agree to disagree
No,
here?
I'm not. The part of the
Last
conversation.
part, last part.
I'm
Come
not
on.
disagreeing with that. I'm not
What?
disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that, right? You're right about that.
Right.
I'm just saying that Meek definitely wants that commercial success. He wants commercial success while being him, and he had that. He would definitely
He's
want
gonna
that.
have it. I don't doubt that. Like, are we doubting that Meek is gonna sell records?
How
That's
much
kind of what's
records?
happening. Yeah,
How
what
much
do you,
records?
okay, so you thought 100K was low. What's a good bar for Meek right now?
Yeah, I thought I was kind of low for Meek.
So
you know what I mean?
250? Does it need to be that high?
I think Meek could get back to the 200-250 ratio if he continues to play all his cards right. Unfortunately,
And one of the cards should
we,
be the
I know
big
we like to
collab.
just talk. It's only about the quality of music, but it's a lot more when it comes to putting up numbers. It's
Right.
about demand. Like sales is all about demand.
He has more.
Right?
He has more visibility now than ever with no record. Just from his
And
story.
positive visibility.
And positive visibility.
He's reaching new audiences with like the Dateline special. He's getting
CNN,
different looks. There might be
yeah.
other people checking for his music.
And my whole point was that he doesn't need a Drake.
Okay.
But if he did make a record, or if fans thought there was a record coming,
It could
or
help.
they believe that that's behind them,
Yeah.
trust me, it helps to build to the momentum of when's that next record.
Word. All right, we'll see. Maybe he does come out at OVO Fest, then the record comes. We'll get all of it, right?
That'd be
Timing.
lit.
Timing is
That'd be lit.
everything.
Right.
All right, so recently the Mute R. Kelly movement has really been growing. They're calling for labels and other corporations to boycott his music. And as that was happening, Spotify introduced a new policy regarding hate content and hateful conduct. So they actually removed R. Kelly and XXXTentacion from all their playlists. In a statement, they said, "We don't censor content because of an artist or creator's behavior, but we want our editorial decisions, what we choose to program, to reflect our values." So this is an interesting situation there. And they're basically saying when an artist or creator does something that's especially harmful or hateful, it could affect the way they work with them. But it's hard to determine, I think, what's especially harmful or hateful. It seems like they're gonna have to take a lot more artists off of these playlists. What do you guys think about this move?
We need regulation, man.
Okay.
No, we need regulation for streaming services and these a lot of these digital platforms that are now controlling the narrative and controlling really where money's going, right? Where fans are going, because there is regulation for radio, right? Like you can't take money to put or play a certain record. You can't. There's certain things you can't do.
Right.
But in this new digital streaming era, like whether we want to admit it or not, these playlists are literally radio. I mean, we just saw that X got removed from the playlist, the Rap Caviar playlist, and all the editorial playlists on Spotify, and the streams is down like 16% per day, right? It's huge. That's a huge hit. Yeah. And if it's only left up to Spotify and their editorial team, I think it's doing the artists a disservice, because most of the artists I listen to, again, I don't listen. We listen to rap. We're not listening to choir boys. You get me? Sometimes these guys make some good music because they've came from some real crazy upbringing. Right. They've been in some stuff. A lot of times that's the only alternative. They were about to go down the path of getting a sentence for life in jail, or they were about to get killed, and then they made that left turn and they got into music. So if we're gonna judge them all for their past, right? I can understand that it says, hey, listen, if you mess up or you're in the news for whatever, until we figure this stuff out, we're gonna take you off. But this is my last point, my biggest problem with this thing is that there's no clear standard, right? So it's, okay, so we don't like R. Kelly. We saw on Twitter, it was trending, we all don't like R. Kelly. Get him off of there. X, there's a couple people that are actively protesting X. Let's get him off of there. But the other people who aren't being protested, and I ain't gonna call no names, because I don't like throwing niggas to get thrown to the bus. Right. But because they're not getting protested, we're just gonna leave them on until there's outrage about them. Which means there's no just like black and white. It's whatever y'all or whoever y'all are mad at, we'll deal with them then.
Well, it seems like this shit is becoming like Minority Report. You know what I mean? Like it's really becoming a movie where now people are taking music off for their allegations, and I think it's due to what their alleged crimes are more than anything, which is something pertaining to women, right? Which is a very sensitive issue. But now we're in a place where you're gonna have people saying, because R. Kelly, he's never been convicted of anything, right? But my thing with R. Kelly is that all these people are not gonna keep saying the same shit about you if there's no truth to it. Right. Like it's too many people saying that this is happening or that happening, or these girls are allegedly in a compound somewhere where they can't speak to their families, and then when they do speak, it's kind of weird.
The reports have been very detailed.
Yeah, it's very detailed. Yeah. And when you read this shit, it's like some crazy novel. But the fact of the matter is that now you could have a person like R. Kelly, he starts making a stand saying, well, he might be the one start throwing people under the bus. Because if we're doing that for certain things, then it becomes, well, what's the criteria for you to have music up? Because then you're going to start looking at people who had murder charges against them.
Or people who actually got convicted.
Or people who actually got convicted, or people who did time. And that's when music is going to go for a turn I'm not going to say for the worse, but it's going to get very interesting as to how music is created. Because a lot of people, in this America, a lot of people are just criminals. Straight up and down, like for real. A lot of our favorite entertainers are criminals. We don't know what they do when they close their doors. Yeah. And, I mean...
He made the point about regulating this, right? Yeah. I just wonder how tricky that is. So it's like, of course, they didn't take them off of Spotify entirely. That's something you might be able to regulate, right? But can you control what a music service does editorially?
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, if their group of editorial playlists are driving probably, I want to say like 30% of all streams, yeah, you better. Yeah. Because you know what's gonna happen? The people who are running those editorial things, they about to take bags on the table, and it's not gonna be a true process of fairness. And again, it's radio. It's radio. Again, it's just harder to. Clearly, when it comes to radio, the airwaves are a public owned thing. You get me? So clearly the government can regulate.
They gotta watch who they stand next to.
With say Spotify, that's well, I think now they're public, but that's a company who has their own board to answer to. They have their own sponsors to answer to, and if they said take X and Kelly off, they're like, delete these niggas. It just gets really tricky because X made the point and he wrote the letter to the New York Times.
And he put
said,
all those different people.
Yeah, get all these niggas off of it.
Do you think this though, Act? Do you think that this is a start? Do you think that them taking them off of a playlist can lead to them taking their music down? Because I mean, ultimately, it would be bad. You know, it would be bad for them to take it off completely. But they already started at a certain place. So do you think that okay, X is still fighting his case, right? So if he does get convicted or whatever and things come back or they take a turn for the worse, do you think that they would then say, all right, we got to take this shit down fully?
And then is that retroactive, right? Do you have to go back and take off everyone who's convicted or, you know?
You know why? Because, you know, and I tweeted this out. I saw this coming like months ago, about 6 months ago. Because there were these like writers who I saw like they were on a soapbox and they were like, hey, the Kodak Blacks, the X's, the NBA Youngboy, they should not be promoted or talked about, period, because of their charges. Pretty much almost saying you should not give any energy or support of their music being pushed into the atmosphere based on what they're charged with. Now, clearly, taking off the playlist is a big deal. But the next step is to say, man, take the music down.
Take the music down.
If people want to go get it, and this is a trickle-down effect, right? So it starts with Spotify. People going to look at Apple. Apple, you going to stand the fire while Spotify already caved? You know, you sell computers, my dude. Like, you ain't got no time to stand next to X. You're selling iPhones, right? So they'll probably be like, peace out to y'all, too. And then it comes to, okay, so you going to still sell their music? Get it off iTunes.
But, and then, I mean, I think there's no real, like, human resources in hip-hop, right? There's nobody that, like, can go in and really clean any of this shit up. So maybe they start telling people, what if you got to do a background check to be an artist? Like, for real.
It's like the TD championship tour. Remember the drug test at the end? Everyone's
exactly. Like, it's like, what if you got to do a background check to be an artist? Because anybody who has some heat could get in this shit until they find out what you did. When you go to a label, nobody's asking you, so do you have any sexual assault allegations? Do you have any violent charges? They're like, yo, your shit is dope. Let's sign you. Let's put it out. But now you put this shit out, and then all of these things start coming back. But when they start coming back, sometimes the label starts saying, oh, we gotta step back. But is this gonna put something in place where there's gonna be regulation prior to an artist even getting signed?
Hey, speaking of which, like, imagine if music or even rap, right? Because rap is where some of these figures are from, at least now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine if there was a union to be like, yo, y'all take X off it, we not participating, none of our artists participating, right? That would help, right? Basically saying, hey, listen, we all got to stand for these guys because, you know what every artist is looking at now? They're all looking at like, just glad it ain't me right now. But then there's more petitions coming up, including the other guys, like, hey, NBA Youngboy, you did this. This other guy, you did this.
The only thing that's hard with, like, because I think engineers have a union. I believe engineers have a union. Producers,
Rappers too selfish. Rappers are too selfish.
Yeah, but producers really need a union. But I don't think that, like, a lot of our favorite artists and rappers, we know what they present to us as far as music and content, but we don't know them. And I think if a lot of us knew who a lot of them really are, we wouldn't support them in a lot of different ways. So that's gonna be a really hard thing. And then it takes a lot more professional people than just rappers to do some shit like that.
Hey, and this is my last question before we can move on. But, and we are going to talk about Kanye later. When you hear a hot song, right, at what point do you think, man, I don't know if I could support or if I could still rock with this song, given what I have heard or know about the artist.
Right.
Me, I kind of separate them. I've listened to some people who I know are scum, period.
Right.
But when I'm listening to the music, I'm just like, the music's fire. I like it. I don't really try to get too much in their personal lives.
Right.
Or I can make that distinction. You're scum, you just make hot music, right? And I don't think I'm rewarding you for being scum. I just think that I like music that's appealing to me, however.
But is that a blanket statement or it depends? So say you heard an artist did something bad versus you read a police report versus you saw a video of them assaulting someone. Are there levels or it's just the same?
Think about them all.
Okay.
Think about them all, right? Like, again, all right.
I'm on some case-by-case basis shit.
Okay.
I hate to do this. Well, that's what Spotify said, but it makes it real like, well, how you judging it? If you saw some wild video of Michael Jackson, that is a state back in the day, some great black and white joint, you know what I mean? Are you then still rocking with P.Y.T., Billie Jean, and, you know what I mean, Thriller? Or are you going to be like, man, throw this shit away?
Well, I don't want to touch the Michael Jackson shit because we could talk about the R. Kelly shit.
No, or
Right.
Cosby. Like,
Wait,
now
wait,
we're-
R.
no,
Kelly's
no.
perfect though.
Let's talk-
That's
Kelly,
perfect.
Kelly,
Absolutely.
Kelly.
There's
But-
video
but-
evidence.
But with R. Kelly, me personally, I never was a big fan of his music growing up. I really...
Even before?
Yeah, like before, I never really was like into his music. Like not knocking nobody else for liking his shit, but I never really was into his music.
You ever had a slow set playlist with no R. Kelly?
Never. I loved I Believe I Could Fly, right? I love that song. But when I seen the tape when that shit came out, and this at the time I was like 18 when that tape came out, and it made me say, oh nah, I'm cool. Like me personally, I'm cool with never hearing none of his music. I'm cool with that.
Put him in rice. It's over.
For me.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people that when Step in the Name of Love come on, that shit don't matter. But but that's a larger conversation of what we pick and choose, what we care about.
Yeah.
Me personally, I do this shit by case. Yeah, it's different from hearing a dude punch the girl and then actually seeing it.
Right.
That's two different things. Cause you can always speculate and say maybe it happened or maybe it didn't.
Exactly.
But when you actually see it, that's a different thing. And that's totally unrelated to R. Kelly, because that's not his allegation. But.
Just a personal question.
Yeah.
How about Chris Brown? Did it affect you at all listening to his music when the whole thing with Rihanna happened?
At first, yeah, it did. Like, I can't lie, it did. Like, it just made me say, wow. Because at the time, he was so young, I didn't think something like that would happen. And then once I seen the pictures, I was like, wow. Like, I took a step off. I mean, I'm not heavily into his style of R&B, especially at that time. I was a little younger. I was still on listening to the Locks all day and shit. So I wasn't really into it like that, but it did make me think. Like we can't, I understand the whole thing with the entertainers, but even like with Kobe Bryant, like I love, Kobe's my favorite player of all time. So I try to separate who he is, because people say, oh, he's an asshole, right? So I try to separate who he is as an asshole when people tell me about stories and his legacy on the court. But if I seen some shit of him treating somebody crazy, you gotta feel something.
Last one.
What?
When that recent Fabulous video came out, did it make you be like, I don't know if I can spell out F-A-B-O-L-O-U-S no more like that?
I mean, you know what? I actually, and this is one thing I'm not shy about, is having relationships with people, right? I have a cordial relationship with Fab.
Yeah.
So when I seen it, I was taken back by it, but it was a lot going on. Like, I couldn't determine what was going on. I'd seen an argument, I seen threats, I seen people in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have any judgment on it. But it didn't make me say, oh, nah, I don't fuck with Fab, because honestly, I don't personally know him. That's the thing. I don't personally know a lot of these people.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't ask you those questions to put you on the spot and put you in a
but
tough
it's cool.
position.
You know what I mean?
But it's really, it's so difficult, because a lot of times we hear allegations. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I covered it very closely, and we talked about it last year, the Freddie Gibbs situation, right? Freddie Gibbs was charged with rape in a different country.
Right.
And then when he was locked up and took about a year for everything to come out, they said in court that, hey, we can't even, like, to be honest, he didn't even have sex with the girl. Now, of course, that's not all situations. That's just that one, right? But imagine if during that year he was locked up, or he was going through the trial, and of course in a different country. Imagine saying, you know what, we can't support your music no more because these allegations. A lot of people can get accused of stuff.
Yeah.
I think if Spotify is supposed to do this, just make it a blanket thing. You get convicted of certain things, and you know, I understand them as a company, they don't want to tell us everything. Just say, we're dealing with convictions though. You can't deal with hearsays and charges, because what happens if somebody beat the charge?
Yeah.
Right? Or imagine if somebody, like, they should know you're dealing with entertainers. You're in the public eye. Sometimes you're going to be in some shit, or your name might be caught up in some shit because you're the big name. Like, if you know, you've dealt with artists. If an artist is around, like, anywhere, on a street corner, and the shooting happens.
Yeah, it's...
Who's in a shootout on TMZ?
Oh, they gonna put up his name. Like, and he could have nothing to do with the shit.
Exactly.
But, I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, the thing that we're seeing going forward is the way it's gonna be a law enforcement issue. I mean, we already have police that are focused on hip-hop, period, and regulating how things go on and being there for prevention. We may start seeing this shit in streaming to an extent. You know what I mean? Like, they have people who monitor cyber bullying, all types of things. Like, we're gonna have a wave of digital enforcement. And there's nothing we can do about it, because at the end of the day, like we said about sales and everything, they're trying to make money.
Hey, what Spotify did was slap all the creators and artists in the face, because all the artists, they campaign, they do whatever they got to do to get on Rap Caviar.
Right.
We give you an interview, we'll do this, we'll show up, we'll play all your music. But if they're gonna just switch it up on you guys, like, randomly, I made a suggestion, and I saw Take Hey, he definitely took it. Make your own playlist, right? Like, Rap Caviar is very influential, but if they're not gonna include you, maybe you should put your energy in building, like, playlists for artists like you. Because, again, if you're making violent music, yeah, you might have a gun charge one time.
Yeah.
You might, right? So what happens when you and the, like, other 10 artists that kind of make similar music have a gun charge? Rap Caviar might not have you on, but if you guys have a playlist that you all are supporting, and, you know what I mean, I just don't like the corporate connection to it. So I don't think a record label
They
should
just
be.
picking and choosing.
Yeah, I don't think a record label should be the person who's picking, because they're gonna only pick for their pockets.
Right.
And then Spotify, they're gonna pick for their sponsors and what looks good with the corporate line. So it's very difficult, but I think it's just going down a bad path.
Yeah, well, it's just the beginning of the conversation. I'm sure a lot more to come, so we'll see how it develops, and if any other streaming companies would dare to adopt this as well.
Right.
All right, so of course, while we were gone, one of the biggest stories was everything Kanye did. Now he has 2 albums coming, a solo project, a joint project with Cudi, but I feel like his love for Trump and his comments about slavery have overshadowed that a bit, at least for me. So of course, you remember him saying, you don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We're both dragon energy. And of course, the now infamous TMZ interview. Let's take a look.
Pop, black community, yeah, I'm always gonna represent that, but I also represent the world. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like...
All right, so it's been a lot. So the conversation we've been having off screen is sort of like, does this affect what Kanye puts out moving forward? Are we gonna not listen to his music? Are we not gonna buy his Yeezys that Akademiks, of course, happens to be wearing today? I thought we were a team.
It's the same shoe, man. It's not like I'm switching it up.
So you're not gonna cop new Yeezys?
Fuck no. You know what I mean? I'll take a discount. but nah, man. Yeah, he's tweaking, man.
He's tweaking.
He's tweaking.
He's out of
That's the
his
only
fucking
way to
mind.
describe it. He's tweaking. You know what? I didn't really care about his comments with Trump. I didn't care.
Okay.
But once he said the slavery shit, I'm like, whoa, this guy is trying to set us back 400 years. Like, I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Now, I always thought Kanye was a Trump supporter, and I thought everybody knew. I was surprised when I saw people like shocked, like, wait, you love Trump? Like, he said it on stage.
But you just don't always have to say everything that you feel, especially when, like,
Kanye?
people's
Are you a
lives are
Trump
on the
supporter?
line.
No, but Kanye, okay, you want me to give you my stance on how I see a lot of people? I think a lot of these entertainers, they make 7 to 8 figures, and when you're in that tax bracket, about 80% of you guys are Trump supporters.
I believe that.
Now, I do believe they pander to their supporters who aren't in that tax bracket, who are not Trump supporters, by either acting like they don't fuck with Trump or being quiet. I think Kanye is one of the people who say, fuck y'all, I don't care, I'll tell y'all. First of all, we gotta acknowledge Trump won the goddamn election, and I haven't met 5 Trump supporters yet. What's going on? So what I'm saying is a lot of people support him, but undercover. So when Kanye comes out now, there's a lot of people who even agree with Kanye, but my thing with Kanye, even though I don't care that he supports Trump, Lil Wayne said some stuff about Black Lives Matter. I'm not looking to rappers for
Political
political
stances,
views,
yeah.
right?
Except Kendrick and Cole.
Even
And a
them,
few more.
no, even them. Like I only want to pick and choose. Like you have to know for yourself. Like if some of them have dope, educated views, cool. But I'm not looking for you to give me my views, right? Kanye West, I don't believe he knows anything when it comes to policy with Trump.
Right.
Right? And also when it comes to Trump, I believe he just sees the similarities in himself. That number one, they're both narcissists. Number two, he's very outspoken and he'll say the unpopular thing. Same with Trump. And I think these are the things that he connects to Trump, right? And he feels like Trump is like the equivalent of him like in rap.
Well, can I say, honestly, for me, this shit is sad. You know what I mean? It's sad because
Did you vote
this
for
is
Trump?
No, I didn't vote for Trump. No, I didn't. This shit is sad because this is the guy who made All Falls Down.
Right.
I mean, everybody doesn't like to talk about, the old days or back in my time, but this is the person who said, you know what I mean, crackhead by Jordan, black man by Jordan, crackhead by crack, and a white man get paid off for all of that. You know what I'm saying? And his narrative of his life is just, I don't know what it is. This shit he says he's out of the sunken place, but that shit seems a bit spooky to me.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the decisions that he's making as far as what he's saying, he knows that he's one of the most influential people on the fucking planet. Like, honestly, if Kanye West, that name is like Michael Jackson. Like, as far as like an icon, like he's in there as far as an entertainer. And it seems like he feels no more social responsibility. I mean, this is the person who said George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Exactly.
Right? But people think that Trump is worse than George Bush. So the whole fact of the matter is he's just really detached. And I think he just don't got no people with him on a day-to-day, because I know it's a lot of people that fuck with him that have different, ideologies or different ways of life that kind of support what he was. But he's just, this really shows you that he's living, remember we was talking about like how people create their own alternate reality?
Yeah.
He lives in an alternate reality.
Yeah.
The slavery comment was insane.
It was super insane, but if you watch that whole clip too, he said one thing that you can know where people's frame of reference is, depend on their talking points, right? He sounded like a guy who watched Fox News and got all his talking points.
Sound like a guy that don't watch shit.
Right.
Well,
For real.
well, when they challenged him, and salute to Van Lathan at TMZ,
absolutely.
he challenged him. Kanye West, the guy from Chicago, brought up black on black violence, right? To kind of like push aside some of the issues that were really important.
But he bring that up to push aside the issues, or is that something that he felt? Like, honestly, that's what I did feel him. I did feel him when he said about, we outraged when a white cop kills a black kid, but we're never outraged when we killing each other. Now, see, that's the shit that I want him to speak about more. Like that's the shit where he could use his influence to kind of change things. But when you say that first, they're only gonna run with that.
Nah. You know why I don't agree with that? Because
You don't agree with what? What part?
I don't agree with him saying that at all.
Why?
I don't agree because he's trying to listen. Of course, black and black violence. That's the thing, right?
It's a fucking mental illness, black on black violence. That shit is insane.
Okay.
But do you feel like in this context he's just picking a convenience?
Yeah, in the context that Kanye used it, he basically said, why do we care about white people killing black people when black people kill? Like, that comparison right there, that shows that you don't get it, right? We should attack black on black violence. That's an issue that we should really get into. Yeah. And Kanye could do wonders for that. But when your only deflection or your only explanation of why we shouldn't focus on this is because this exists, and you coming from where you come from, I have to look at you and say, Kanye, you've been in Calabasas for way too long.
He's wilding the fuck out.
And also, you said he doesn't watch a lot of things. Yeah, Kanye, you seem really uninformed. Right. He seems super uninformed. I watched that. I watched the interview he had with Charlemagne, and both times when he was asked to quote specific policies or to answer to certain things that either Trump has done or other things going on, he couldn't say nothing but, I love everybody as individuals.
I want to know what the fuck dragon energy is.
That's that Illuminati shit.
Just
okay?
uninformed and loud.
Yeah,
Basically,
like-
because the thing is, Kanye's always been a man of many contradictions, right? It's one of the
Absolutely.
reasons that we love him. But in this case, he always says, I'm saying exactly what I feel out of love. It's not out of love. You can't support a man who doesn't care about most people's lives and
Most
say
people,
it's
right.
out of love. You know what I mean? If you feel that, it's cool. We can't change your feelings. Just don't fucking share it with the world.
Yeah, it really changed. But now the bigger thing is, that's not gonna stop nobody from listening to that album.
Right, so that's the thing. He's probably still gonna just kill it first week.
Well, I did tell y'all before, and I still do believe that. I know, seem like a hypocrite because I am wearing the Yeezys, but wish I
Yes,
wear
you
it,
are
man.
wearing Yeezys.
But, right? Honestly, if this is the type of rhetoric he's promoting and pushing and very consistent and vocal with,
Right.
it will make me think twice about buying any Kanye West product. Music is a little bit different because music could enter your surrounding whether you want it or not.
Yeah, it's a
You get me?
universal language.
Exactly. I don't have to buy a Kanye song
To
for
hear
me.
it.
Yeah, I could be in a car with people. So it's hard, right? But going out and purchasing a Yeezy, an overpriced sneaker that was made in China, come on, man. That's a choice.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the stance I will take if this type of rhetoric continues. I don't believe that would be the majority of people. That's
not.
just me.
It's
You get me?
But you need more to stop. To say that you're not gonna purchase anything, you're not gonna support him financially.
Yeah, I think the people who will complain on Twitter, they gotta start making stances.
Yeah.
You can't be tweeting the outrage.
I'm not-
without
That rarely
you.
happens.
I'm not
still,
throwing
right?
Kanye to the wolves yet. I have honestly.
How many Yeezys you got on pre-order, man?
I don't got none on pre-order. You know what's so funny? I seen somebody say, yo, since y'all wilding about Kanye, I better be able to get some fucking Yeezys now because I can never get them.
Word.
You know what I mean? But honestly, I'm not ready to throw him to the wolves yet, you know? But I do think that he needs some checking, some soul searching and some checking of himself, some really looking in the mirror. You know what I mean? And thinking. Really thinking, not this free, I don't even know what that shit means.
Free thinking.
Like,
One of the interesting things while watching this interview with Charlamagne, right, was me kind of watching how he's developed, as you said, from the all falls down guy to the person he is now, and possibly, and again, I'm making a leap and assumption here, but I'm thinking why perhaps that's connected to Jay not fucking with him, right? Like how do you deal with a friend where if
And Obama.
yeah.
I feel like that
would drag it
took
in.
us all the way here, yeah.
Where
Oh,
your
dragging
friend
it.
is now having his thought or pattern of thinking or the things he's supporting is directly contradicting yours. Could you still be friends outside of that? And I mean, you probably could be, but probably I don't want to be around your dragon energy too much.
Yeah,
Your dragon energy look like some devil worshiping, man. I don't know if I want to be around that, man. I don't know what type of Sunday dinner Kris Jenner cooking. Straight. I'm not coming over for that, man. Y'all feed that
Yeah, I don't
to
know
Kylie
what
in the
the fuck
group,
is
man.
going
No
on
way.
over there.
You get
Yeah,
me?
man.
But maybe that is connected to all this stuff. I just want to see how people react to it. If people are this outraged, I never seen this outrage in a while. I've seen other rappers speak of fuck Kanye.
Yeah.
Right? Or for some people who didn't want to go that extreme, they're like, we love Kanye, but we don't agree with it. If Kanye comes out and drops his album and sells 500,000 first week, y'all niggas better shut the fuck up.
I don't,
man.
but I
Let
don't
Kanye
think he
rock.
won't. I don't think he won't. Like, I don't think that this is gonna prevent him from that. Like,
Yeah.
because
It better?
it's not, yo. Like, let's be for real. Like, we just talked about number. Kanye, I don't give a fuck what's going on in the world. Like, something happens and everything stops.
I know, but what I'm saying is that I don't want to hear these niggas on Twitter just complain all day if they going out.
Listen, man, people on Twitter, that's what they do is fucking complain. You know what I mean? I just said on Twitter, I love to complain about people that complain. Like, you know what I mean? So they're gonna fucking
I
complain.
forgot this is like the Black Twitter, like
You
vice
finally got
president.
I'm a
around.
legend in that shit. Feel me?
This guy, man.
All right, so
Do your Googles, B.
June 1st, right? That project's coming. Of course, we're going to be talking about it here, but let's see if the new Yeezys sell out whenever those come. On a lighter
you
note,
copping the Yeezys, yo?
hell no, not never.
Never.
She got him on pre-order. Chops got him for her.
Never. You know, never see me in some Yeezys. All right, so Kendrick. Now, usually he brings fans on stage to rap with him, but during a performance at Hangout Fest in Alabama last weekend, shit went kind of left when he brought a fan up from Mad City. Let's take a look.
They go against me every time I'm in the street. I hear
What's up, bro? Fuck you, through the rules a little bit.
Will's just really cool, bro. You have to work.
You gotta bleep one single word though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do it?
Yeah, you did it.
I'm so sorry.
Yo, man.
I shouldn't laugh, but I just.
If
I
you
just
say
don't-
bro, you should not be saying
not
nigga.
cool enough for you,
I'm
bro.
sorry, man.
Listen, man. Can I be frank? This fucking bird had one job, and what's crazy about it is she missed the first nigga. Like she stopped herself from saying it the first time, so you can't say that she didn't know what to do. Cause she said, "Fuck what you heard. Where you from?"
Nah, I think she was seeing the crowd was in there, and the second time,
It's like,
Were they?
hey, hold on though. She might have thought she was at a Kanye concert. No, dead ass.
Is this on loud? Oh,
No,
all right,
no,
you know what?
Dead serious.
Nah, man, but this is just.
She
this
was
is-
free thinking, right?
She was thinking free.
No, 100% though. Like I stand by what I said. Like I remember my brother went to the University of Rhode Island. It's like 91% of whites. Salute to everybody up there. You know what I mean? You got that. Kanye West came through. That's around the time that he dropped Gold Digger. And my brother infamously told me this story. He said when Kanye West was performing, this is like pretty much the whole audience is white.
Right.
Kanye would stop the song and be like, "Yo, I want all my white people in here to say nigga." Like, of course, in the song, right?
Yeah.
So like, don't like when I'm rapping and you rapping it with me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Sharing,
Well,
bro,
dumb
nigga,
ass.
yeah.
Well,
So
dumb
again,
ass.
so again, maybe she, and I'm definitely not taking up for her, but
Right.
maybe she just thought that, yo, we're in a concert. It's one of those things. She has, there was Monique had a show, the Parkers or whatever, like
Yeah.
where like the white friend was like repeating it, and everybody else like blurted out, and then she was like just saying it. Not everyone knows the rules universally.
Nah, fuck all that. You wanna know why? Fuck all that because no, you can't say it.
You've been on the road with artists. You've managed artists. So if one of
Yeah.
your artists is
Wayno,
performing
you've seen
and
the
it's
shows, and
happening
you
in the
know,
crowd,
I've
you know
been
who
at
be
plenty
saying
of
nigga
shows.
the
What
hardest, the
happens?
white
They
guy in the
don't-
crowd.
Listen, yes they do, but you know what? Your ass knew better. She knew better, and if you knew better, you fucking do better. And she did bad. She did bad because now she's gonna be known as the white girl who said nigga for the rest of the
and
year.
didn't even apologize
Because-
everyone
And
on
I didn't say
stage.
my fault. She said, "Oh, I said it. Come on, bro." Like,
Because of how Kendrick kind of like blew it up though. But it would have probably, if he had just let it go. Actually, I think I'm more surprised by Kendrick. I think most of these artists would have probably let it go.
What you said?
I'm surprised by Kendrick.
Why?
Most of these artists.
Yo, he's a Pulitzer
would've
Prize winner. He
probably
can't be
just
just
let it
like
go.
letting shit slide
You-
like that
you know
on
why?
stage.
First of all, let's stop acting like.
Man, he just did the fucking Black Panther soundtrack. He not letting that shit go.
but
You crazy?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's dope that Kendrick did it, right? Because for everybody who has these big concerts, it's mostly white people in the crowd. And if you're performing a song, like I seen YG at Rolling Loud performing like
My
what's
Nigga,
it-
My Nigga.
yeah, My Nigga or Sue Whoop or whatever. Like, bruh, what do you think?
You're
They,
supposed
what
to
do you
say
think
My
they're in the
Nigga.
crowd? Like they're bleeping everything out. Like,
Yeah, but listen,
no,
not the
nigga,
crowd.
like-
We're not talking about the crowd because
You talking about on
at
stage?
no show is Kendrick Lamar gonna say, "All right, listen, none of y'all white people say nigga when we start saying this." He's not gonna say that. But she knew better. Fuck that.
This is in Alabama though. I don't know.
Exactly. Alabama.
It's Alabama,
yeah.
right?
Is you lost around here, boy? Like, no. Like, is you crazy?
Nah, the way she kind of asked him like, yo, you good, bro?
Yeah, she asked him, was he good?
Like he fucked up.
You good, boy?
Yeah.
Like,
She's wildin'. She's wildin'. Can we
Yo.
find her? I'm gonna troll her. Can I troll her? Let me find her Instagram and her Twitter.
All right, let's get into some quick hits before we go. First up, Lil Kim hitting the Block Boy JB dance at a festival. Okay, still got it?
fire!
No,
I can't do that shit. Can
Hey,
you?
yo, hey, yo,
I can't do it. I can't do
I
it.
seen people clown this on social media. I thought it was so dope. Nobody looks like hella cool doing the Block Boys. This
She was
is
off
like
beat doing it.
Huh?
She was off beat doing it.
That's the audio, man.
That one
She
and
was
remember
killing it.
the
OG
shit
with
when
it.
she was doing this? When she was doing like
Okay,
she was guard?
that one she was definitely guarding Kyrie Irving. But
Nah,
this one, she
man.
was hitting
Little
like-
Kim just gotta stick to a simple two-step, man. Like,
Wayno, I dare you to do this dance and look.
I'm not doing that shit. You crazy?
Anybody
like
who
an
does
absolute
this done,
fool
and
doing
you
it.
kind of look a little like.
Not the young kids.
Nah, even
Leave that shit to the young kids look dope doing that shit.
Kind of
Leave
look
that
like
to
they're
them.
having a seizure, man.
A seizure? Come on, man.
serious.
You ever seen somebody catch a seizure? Are you kidding me?
That's what it looks like.
No, it does not.
That's what it looks like.
No, it does not.
Bro,
What are you talking about?
Guys.
The dance is not like it's to me. It's an ugly dance to do. Like
It's an ugly
like
dance when you
it's
say it
a-
looks like they're catching a seizure. You hit the floor when you're having a seizure.
Okay, obviously. but I'm talking about the constant movement like that. Come on.
The constant movement.
All right, y'all. So this.
She didn't leave that shit alone. Tell Lil Kim leave
Yo,
that shit
shout
alone.
out to Lil Kim. At least she's having
Shouts
fun.
to Kim, but
She's
leave that
having
shit
fun.
alone, B.
Man, she's trying to connect to the younger fans. Yo,
She's connecting
Kim
to
a
academics. That's
OG,
all that
man.
matters.
Kim a OG, whatever she do on stage. Yo, like criticize these young dudes, man. I like how she's turning up, man. I ain't gonna lie, the other one, this one's fire though. I like that. Wayno,
Stop it,
definitely,
dog. Like
she would
going
definitely do the
Now
lockdown
you on
defense.
some OG shit. Fuck out of here.
Nah,
Yeah,
bro,
with it.
I'm right. Man.
Stop it. Is it Real Hip Hop Tuesdays? Is that why?
No, Lil Kim slander.
That's why. No, that's look exactly.
Hey.
It's Real Hip Hop Tuesday on Akademiks page.
No.
That's why he's co-signing that shit.
Yeah.
No
Fuck
Lil
outta
Kim
here.
slander will come from me.
No
It's
Lil
not
Kim
slander.
ever.
It's not slander, but Lil
You thought
Kim.
she looked ridiculous, bro?
Huh?
You thought she looked ridiculous?
And she was off beat, man. Every dance looks bad when you're off beat.
Maybe her little in-ear joiner, like the
Look, Wayno,
like
it's just the audio
on-stage
wasn't
joint.
her fault. Let Act defend Kim. He's passionate
Right.
about this one.
Protect women at all costs, specifically.
Kim,
Lil
keep
Kim.
rocking, baby. I like how you was doing that, junk.
All right, got one more new J-Rock album coming. June 15th, Redemption. Win-Win is out now. I'm looking forward to this. You guys ready for a J-Rock project?
I am. I remember J-Rock hearing J-Rock on MySpace before, like, when he had the record with Lil Wayne.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Remember that?
MySpace days.
Exactly. When he had the record with Lil Wayne. I mean, it's dope that J-Rock is finally getting his shot because I think that he's underrated as a lyricist. You know what I mean? I think he's underrated as a lyricist, and I don't think that anybody else on TDE coming out hindered him. I think they was just waiting for his time. They on the championship tour.
Word.
He has the record King's Dead with Future and Kendrick, which showed a different side of J-Rock because he don't really jump in that
That's
type of
such a good
pocket.
track, yeah.
Yeah, I love that joint. So salute to J-Rock, salute to TDE, Dave Free, everybody.
Yo, Dave, we're trying to come to the championship tour.
Hey,
I told him that yesterday too.
The
I
whole
need
team's trying to
in.
roll.
June gonna be a crazy month and very long overdue for J-Rock. Definitely be checking it out.
Yeah. I hope him and Ab-Soul got something crazy.
Yo,
On there.
I want to see who's gonna have the most fire album of June. That got to be a topic. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot
Yeah,
to pick from.
we got something for them tomorrow, though. All right, y'all, that's our show for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Complex News.
Man, run that Kim doing the joint again.
Let me see you do that shit.
One time.